Okay, so let me start on a new sutta, uh, which will give you how to do vipassana after samatha and how this vipassana will work when we are in jhana. This is in Anguttara Nikaya, what we will be covering up. Now, why I'm taking Anguttara Nikaya? Because it is precise. It just fixes what has to be fixed. Okay. So now let me quickly open up that sutta. It's in Anguttara Nikaya 5.75. Okay, if you want, you can open it and keep it so we can go through together. So Buddha talks about 5 kind of yodha, warrior. Okay, and there are 5 kinds of bhikkhu also. So now to begin with, I need to check what's the state of my mind. Is it like a first warrior, second warrior, third warrior, fourth warrior? All these 4 will get defeated in one way or the other, and the 5th warrior will win. So that's the simile. Why I'm taking similes? Because it is easy to practice. Okay. So the first warrior is one who just listens about a war. There is no war happening. There is nobody who is come there to do anything. But just because he hears an approaching army, he gives up. Okay. So let's look at the bhikkhu who is in the Dhamma. In his case, what would happen is that he hears a woman who is very pretty in certain village. So he gets attached to that, starts imagining her. So he gives up because he gets discouraged by spiritual life, because there is nothing which is happening for him. So he creates an imagination, fantasy, and sensual expectation. And his mind itself creates an attractive form and becomes dissatisfied with celibacy and cannot sustain. Okay, so he reveals his weakness in the training and goes back to lay life or householder life. Now the question comes, what is it for us? We are not bhikkhus anyway. So here is where I need to look into my mind at this point in time. How my mind is. Yesterday, I was talking to Mrutyunjaya and Veena. They were at my home, Rupa and her husband. So we spent close to 2.5 hours, I think so. Out of which there are a lot of questions, nice questions. Now that much of talking, information can create a lot of disturbances. Okay. So I, as a teacher, should be aware how to remove this from the mind. Otherwise, it will be like warrior who is going to lose the battle. Because what do we generally speak? We speak about the world as a layperson, and the world includes five senses. Okay, it need not be female. In this case, Buddha talks about female because that's the highest attraction, and for a female, male is the highest attraction. So hence, everywhere you'll find mention of women. So that doesn't mean that Buddha never liked women or anything like that. But it is about knowing that we are doing everything for getting a man or a woman in our life. So whatever we do, that's ultimate. Okay. We study for getting married. Keep that way. That means you get a job, and after getting the job, what next to be done? Have a family, right? And to have a family, you either need to have a man or a woman. Now you have different thing called LGBTQ, but assuming that that's not the case, and then you have a man or a woman. So the ultimate aim of life is to have a family. Clear? So we need to understand why we speak about all of this. The ultimate happiness in a lay life is woman or a man. Okay. And the ultimate pleasure is sex. Okay. That's imprinted, taken. Now, that being the case, the sight of a woman or a sight of a man in the mind itself is sufficient for somebody to accept defeat. It need not be a female to be coming and touching or doing something. Just the thought of a woman itself can create many kind of imagination. Okay. So basically, from childhood, I am introduced to a girl, and the same thing with the boy. So that proximity, that staying together is sufficient for the mind, which is vijnana, to gather information. So as the body starts growing, the interest to explore also happens. So I am a family man or a woman from the start. Okay. So to get out of this requires tremendous strength. It's not that nothing is something wrong in a family life. No. But if I don't want to come back to this existence again, then the force what I need to put is extraordinary, not just ordinary. How and why? Well, I have my mother and father. It's a family circle. Then I have my brother, sister, cousins, uncles, aunts, friends, etc. So the mind is conditioned to believe this is exactly what it should be. There's no other way. So hearing the battle itself is sufficient for that soldier to give up. And hearing an imagined object is sufficient for a bhikkhu. Let's say I become a bhikkhu, I take robes, to give up because I can't handle it. So what do they do? Nowadays, In many monasteries, they have temporary ordination just for a month, just for 10 days, just for 3 months. And there is so much of hype on that, which is sensuality in spiritual life. Instead of he just or she just becoming a bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, there is a hype. There's something special is happening. So, which is like that. That's like the first warrior. So, I need to see within myself whether I am stuck because I'm in a lay life. Internally, I'm a bhikkhu. It's not the other way around. I'm in midst of this war. Can I be a bhikkhu? What Buddha is saying is he has gone out into wilderness, whereas I am not in wilderness. That means people will be coming, talking, going, females will be coming, males will be coming, so many things will be happening on a daily basis. Can I withstand that sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, and thoughts? Okay. So, yesterday, if I take that example of our evening meeting, on the Buddha Dhamma, it was, say, half an hour. But on remaining topics, which was good, but it was more. So, if Mrityunjay and Veena had come for understanding Buddha Dhamma, it was only half an hour. The remaining maybe 2 hours was nothing, is what I would say. But what should Mrityunjay and Veena think or look into it? If there are other details being given, can I withstand that? Or am I obsessed with only knowing what Buddha says? If yes, I'm like a warrior who has been hit and defeated. Why? This is lay life. This is not renunciate life. So, should I be a renunciate physically as well? No. Can I be a renunciate in the mind? Yes. For which you have to put in tremendous strength. Otherwise, it would be confusing. What am I doing? Why am I doing? Why am I here? Like that. Let's say my brother's family come here. I can't be talking Dhamma subject. Makes no sense. But can I disengage in the mind while I'm engaging with them? Then I'm a Yodha, a warrior. So this is the first instance when the imagination itself takes over rather than the people coming. That means I can imagine Rupa and Veena, two females, and Mrityunjaya and Rupa's husband coming. And what if they speak to me this, I will speak this, blah blah, and then I'm spending my time in that. So which makes no sense. But can I engage? Yes. How? Yoniso manasikar. Okay. But here Buddha says that this Yodha is defeated because that woman who comes is not physically coming. She's coming in his mind because he heard so and so place, so and so village, so and so beautiful looking woman is there, or a girl is there who is unmarried and very ripe and very intoxicating, enticing to look at. And that words, enticing, intoxicating, is sufficient for him to go mad. I can replace this with any of the modern gadgets we have. If somebody says to me, Vilas, I think you need to have this. If somebody says to me, at least is okay, right? And that's what has happened by hearing. Just like he heard a pretty woman or a girl in that neighborhood. In the same way, somebody tells me that this new product has come. I think you should go and buy. That's sufficient for my mind to get disturbed. I've not even seen it. But the very fact it is told to me creates unrest in my mind. So I need to check as vipassana. To check as part of vipassana, I need to be in jhana. To be in jhana, I need to be in samatha. So samatha is a continuous activity. That means guarding sense door is a continuous activity. If not, then I will be taken over by this item. Let's say a new iPhone has come. I love iPhones. So the moment that model is mentioned, heard, after this class, I'll book a cab and go to Mall of Asia, where we have Apple Store. It opens at 11 a.m. So I'm desperate for 11 to happen. So I start here at 10 because traffic. Instead of taking a public transport, I will drive. Then as soon as the doors are open, I'm the first customer asking for that iPhone. Then I buy it. Then I look at transferring all of my data from this phone to that phone, which will take 2+ hours. So I'm fine with it. I'm desperate. So in that desperation, I can't meditate because the sense restraint is not there. So the samatha is not there. So then there's no jhana. It's not about sila. Sila is fine. The sila has got nothing to do with this one. It's kamachanda. What it has got to do with sila. So people misunderstand, or I might misunderstand that if I'm in sila, I can be in samatha. No, not at all. I'm not killing. I'm not stealing. I'm not doing sexual or sensual or sexual misconduct. I'm not lying. I'm not drinking. 5 sila. I'm perfectly fine with that 5 sila. You mean to say if I don't have 5 sila, I can't go to Mall of Asia? Or if I have 5 sila, I cannot go to Mall of Asia? No, I can. That anxiety and desperation is sensual, kamachanda. It's got nothing to do with sila. So just by following sila doesn't make indriya sambara. Or other way around, just by having sila doesn't promise me a samatha. I would have best of the sila. I've not broken a single sila. Yes, good. Which shows you're a sotapanna. But that doesn't make anything as far as sensuality goes. So many people have this confusion that sila brings in samatha. No, sila does not bring samatha. Sila with Buddha Dhamma Sangha will get you sotapatti phala. That means you will not be reborn in the apayas, which is good, but that doesn't cut sensuality. So I will, that anxiety, that vexation, that stress of going and seeing that iPhone which has come is going to be there. Just because I'm a Sotapanna doesn't mean that I can't run to iPhone store. I will go to iPhone store. Will I be having so much of excitement to go to iPhone store? Yes, absolutely. Is everyone going to be that way? Need not be. That degree varies. So I go to Apple store. I've taken my debit cards. When I say debit cards, there are more than one. I don't want to lose it. Then she says, "Sir, that is released in United States. It'll take a month for us to get here." Okay. Now I'm disappointed. So now then I think, oh, I'm going to America anyway. So the day one when I land, my heart is beating to get that iPhone. But I have to pay in dollars, which will be more. So I'm drawn towards that iPhone, but I have to pay in dollars. I don't want to pay more. So I evaluate, I check the how much is the bank charges and blah blah. Still cheaper down in the US than India. So ultimately, buy. But I have a problem. I cannot change SIM cards, meaning I can't transfer. That means I have to carry two phones now instead of one, which is a burden. But I can't use the other phone. Even though I have international roaming, I can't use this new phone. Either which way, I have to wait for time I come back to India. So I'm already defeated. I'm Sotapanna, still defeated. Parajita. Got it. So it can be a taste, like example, ice cream. Let's say I love ice creams. So then Avanti has promised me a different kind of ice cream in New York. So I'm counting my days because on 1st September itself, I'm going to have an ice cream. And we are on 30th of July. I want these dates to just run. It's vexation. So I'm already parajita because the sense restraint is not there. So sila is not a default factor for indriya sambara. You have to do indriya sambara. It's not that I'm having sila means indriya sambara is going to happen. No. Got it. Otherwise, the very thought of iPhone is sufficient enough for me to get disturbance. The very thought of New York is sufficient for me to get disturbed. The very thought of anything in America is sufficient for me to get disturbed. Even though my sister, who stays in America, says that there's no point in being in America, then I would say to her that you are in America, so you will say there's nothing in America. But I'm in India, so I would love America. But that's how everybody sees the grass on the other side is greener. Okay. That's sensuality. It can be with sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, and thoughts. So I need to check right now using the breath. So satova asasati, satova pasasati, whether I can stay on a neutral thing, which is breath. And hence, 18 hours of breath watching is the right way to do it, not 1 hour, not 10 minutes. Because then the sensuality will get cut. Okay. So now I know the reason why I require 18 hours. So this is the first thing that bhikkhu sees woman, no. Hears a woman, no. Touches a woman, no. Smells the woman, no. But just hears somebody talking and that gets into his mind. And then the imagination starts. So that makes him parajita. So he closes. Are you're dozing. Guess you didn't have sleep or tired. Or you're gone into the wilderness of imagination. Okay, so it's called Rajaga. So if you refer to that sutta, he talks about Rajaga. Raja means dust. Rajaga means cloud of dust. So the warrior just hears cloud of dust. No enemies have come, but that is sufficient. In the same way, he has not seen any woman, but the very name woman arouses him completely. Just like very word of iPhone arouses me completely, or iPad, or whatever it is. Okay, now we'll take the second one. I'll not take all of the ones, we'll keep it as our practice. So this is the first one. Now the second one, dhajag. Dhaja means banner or a flag. He's seen the dust cloud or cloud of dust. But when the enemy's banner becomes visible, his danger becomes real and identifiable. So he loses courage before entering into actual combat. So in this case of the bhikkhu is not overcome by hearing about beauty, but he sees her walking by the riverside in a very sensuous walk. And there's a sutta where Buddha talks about scantily clad. That means she's not dressed and she's walking on the riverside. And that walking sound makes him sit like this and observe. Just like I go to the iPhone, Apple store, I don't have to enter inside the building, but having gone there, let me check it out. I don't have anything to be bought, but still check it out. So I'm overcome by the beauty. So the visible form captures the attention, the iPhone store or Apple store. So I take the overall appearance and attractive detail becomes, that is, my mind becomes mentally colored by what is seen and cannot sustain the holy life. I feel, come, come, come. So the saleswoman comes, beautiful, dressed. She's looking as good as an iPhone. Just like if I go to a car show, you'll see generally women standing with, I don't have to explain what kind of dress. It gives the owner, a person who is buying, thinking that have two women standing there, your car is something like that. Just like taking two women to your home, because that's sensuality. You've seen any car pair, can be Mercedes, can be anything, Volkswagen, BMW, anything. You'll see exactly the same setup. Otherwise, nobody will come inside the store. So here is a deal. I just want to tell you why this second one is so important. Earlier, in when I used to have my travel agency, so we used to do travel show in Mumbai. It's called IITM, International Travel Mart. Now, to get into the stall, they've taken a stall, but nobody will come. So one lady approached me saying that, sir, we will manage your stall. What kind of girls are you looking at? I said, what does that mean? No, it means how sensual the girl should be, how much dress she should be wearing or not wearing. I asked her, oh, do you get something like that? She said, yes. So I spoke to my partner saying that we want to increase the sales. We need to have the girl standing the counter, because everybody were taking one in Mumbai. So then that store will be having more number of visitors. So how do you increase the visitors? So then he selected one girl. Her job is to just stand there at the counter. We both will be sitting inside. But looking at her, people just started coming. They're not interested in booking, but she made them book tour. That's a weakness. And every stall is filled up. So we were surprised. She's charging 5,000 rupees a day. Was it worth it? I think yes. In those 3 days of our travel mart, we made a good amount of profit. Now I was in Bangkok, same kind of travel show. And Bangkok is known for, I think you know it, I don't have to explain. But it is a competition between the Chinese and Vietnamese and Filipino to Singaporean to all kind of Southeast Asian women. And there are no Indians anyway, but it's all about that. So it's like second one. This person gets sold. Okay. So it's sufficient enough to entice. I want to be in Dhamma. That is sufficient. The skin show is sufficient enough for me to get enamored by that. Okay. So I disclose my weakness, relinquish the training, and return back to householder life. I feel that this is not possible. may be possible for somebody else, but not for me. Why I'm telling you this is that you might be a Sotapanna. You can't get into Sakadagami because there's possession. I get possessed. So it need not be only on this. So don't take women, I'm saying, but anything, any sensual, including hotels, restaurant, comfort, cars, this, that. Not that you shouldn't be using, but that drive, possession. So if I feel possessed, it means I'm not gone to Sakadagami at all. So the test of my endurance is possession. Can that woman standing at that counter, or does that woman standing at that counter now not only attracts me, but I feel possessed? Because now that girl is standing in the front, but she has some questions. Where does she come? She either comes to me or to my partner. And she's showing her skin. She knows she's showing it to me or to him because we are paying money for that. Now, nothing happens to her because she has decided to use that profession. But something happens to me and she's possessed, like a ghost is possessed. Now, what happens? After the travel mart, that means day one of the travel mart is over, my mind is filled with her. So the whole night I'm thinking about her, what she'll be wearing tomorrow morning. And now I find she's even come in a most hottest suit I could ever imagine. I'm feeling very happy with no sales or no sales. My heart is beating. So if I claim to be a Sakadagami, I'm doing wrong. Why? She's possessed me. So I need to test like that. So it's a banner, right? So the enemy has not come yet. Only the tip of the banner is sufficient. She has not stripped anything in front of me, but partial skin show is sufficient enough for me to feel different, let alone the full thing. That will come to that later in the fourth one, where there's explicit mention of that. But second one is testing how strong. It's just like I go to some store, they say, why don't you test it out? Right? There's even second stage. So if I go to Apple store, I ask, oh, this is iPhone 18. Now it yet to come. We are in 17 Pro. So I'm asking 18 Pro Max. So then they say, yeah, 17 Pro Max is good enough. So please check it. That touch. And then I start getting lost in that 17 Pro Max. So it is possessed. 17 Pro Max is possessed. Same thing with food. Same thing with sound. Sight, sound, taste, touch. Now, what I'm talking is the touch of a woman. She's not touched me. Actually, she's not touched me at all. Just the look of it. So I am parajita, defeated. Nothing to do with not being a sotapanna. Because the kama chanda is there. in a Sotapanna, exactly the same way as a Puttujana has. Okay, so shouldn't get confused that this is different. No, a bhikkhu can be a bhikkhu can be a Sotapanna, a bhikkhu can be, or a lay follower can be a Sotapanna. They both have exactly the same thing. So I'm possessed. The first one is a case of Sotapanna, just the name itself is sufficient. Here, this is sufficient. The look. There's an English song, she's got the look. Okay. And she's got the look. That's it for today. Because I want to take the other two ones, which are more detailed, more steady material of the accomplishment in myself. So we'll take it tomorrow. Any questions, comments? I don't think so there should be any questions on this, but yet. So after Mrutyunjay and Veena and other two left, I had to cleanse, but I couldn't cleanse completely. So that peacefulness was a little bit less because I couldn't get chance to clean it. Yes.
I wonder if possession can be understood as something that lingers in your mind. Anything that lingers in your mind, that's worldly.
Yes. See, what happens here is that it's a good question. If I take that, when did we have this? I think 2018, sorry, 2017, when we had a show in Mumbai. So we were swarmed by many girls coming and asking for this kind of work. So ultimately, we hired one. There was, in fact, an agent for that as well. I didn't know you can even get an agent because she's going to send the girls. So, possessive. Let's take possession. Parigaha in Pali. What does it do to you? When this agent, woman or girl, actually, she's in her 25s, maximum 30, I think so, came, she was dressed, obvious dressing to show what she actually can do. But that partial dressing is what makes things very enticing. Because the skin color with the dress, meaning the contrasting border dress, makes it appealing. That is possession. That's what possesses you. The color, shape is what possesses you. See, even after the girl was gone, she's attractive. That means I'm still holding on to that girl. And after she sent another girl to work with us, this girl went away. Because now the second one is possessive. So she's going to stay in the store. Just like if I take iPhone 16 Pro Max versus iPhone 17 Pro Max, till I get 17 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max is a possession, or 16 Pro is a possession. But as soon as 17 Pro comes, 16 Pro is no longer a possessive item. You don't even care. 17 looks far better. So it lingers in the mind. Even after the object has left, it lingers till you possess it completely as mine. Okay, it lingers. So when we go and buy in the shop, then it stops lingering because it's yours. And you lose interest also at the same time. It's good when it is in the shop. You have that craving to get it. But once you get it, you lose it. That's the problem. So till you are possessed, till I am possessed, I have that anxiety to get it. But the moment I get it, another thing has to get possessed in its place because now there is no charm. So the mental creation starts. That means rumination of that experience. Like when I first met my girlfriend, that is rumination. Now she's wife, I don't care. But the first time I met my girlfriend, that's the most interesting experience. So it lingers. And that's possession. Go ahead.
Thanks for explaining. Yeah, I think earlier, I think in one of the discourse, I think we mentioned this upadi, this holding on very tightly in one's heart. And so that's an obvious kind of possession. But even, let's say, in my meditation, some previous impressions come in the mind. Those are sufficient to be called as possession, even
Yes.
though they're not clear to me.
Yes.
Even though it can possess me entirely.
They're trying to possess you. So what Vimala Ramsi did in order to eliminate that, he created TWIM and the 6 R's where you can say recognize and like that. Release, relax. That thought will come. Don't give it energy. So if something peripheral, you're getting thoughts, be on the breath till it goes away. Otherwise, it'll possess. It's not obvious possession, but they are side possessions. Even if they give a little bit into it, they possess.
Does that mean as a Sakdagami, then when you meditate, these impressions shouldn't even be coming? The essential impressions shouldn't
They
even
will
be coming.
come, but they are not possessing you. See, thoughts coming have got nothing to do with what you do with it matters rather than they coming. They can come.
I mean sensual impressions. Let's say some building I saw.
Any sensual. Now, let's say I'm sitting on meditation and then let's say I'm doing closed eyes meditation, watching the breath. You mean to say that Mrityunjay, Veena and Rupa shouldn't be coming in? No, they can come because they were there in yesterday night. So they are going to be there when I close my eyes because that's an impression on the mind. Should I keep? Yes, go ahead.
Although in these examples, they're not taken in as in a central way, but let's say some building or car that I saw, it comes into the mind. That means
let me make it even more easier for instead of you. Let's say I love America. I saw something. What America? Forget that. It's the flag. 50 states, 50 stars. It's sufficient for me to trigger. That is sanya. That's sufficient for me to trigger the possession. I'm possessed by America. Now, shouldn't it come? If you ask me that question, it is absurd. Should it possess you? And the answer is no. As a Sakadagami, I don't have possession because I know that there's nothing called profit and loss. It's not profitable to being in America or loss not being in America. Yes.
Yeah, I understand like literally what you're saying, but I'm wondering if it's this American flag coming in the mind itself signifies that it has been possessed.
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
It just in a passing cloud, let us say. You are asking the passing cloud shouldn't come. No, that will be too much. The cloud can come, but you are not part of that cloud. You are discerning, you are doing yoniso manasikara. So that comes and it goes away by its own. It doesn't capture your attention.
So if they get very sticky, it's hard to cut off. That shows you're not a Sakadagami.
Yes, absolutely. You're on the verge of becoming Sakadagami, but not yet there. So you're an anugami. That means you're on the path of fruition, but then you are not yet a Sakadagami. But you are Sotapanna for sure. So there's nothing wrong in it. But that possession is still not gone. Go ahead.
And I guess a technical question is this non-possessiveness can come for two reasons. One is your sati is very strong, so you discern and drop it very quickly. Second is that it doesn't even have the tendency to possess. Is that a combination of the two or just one of the two?
It can be, but the second one is a truth. It doesn't have the ability to possess you. Let's take another example. I think for this, we need to go and do this. We both can fly to Las Vegas. Okay? And we can go to a bar. And we can sit. You are possessed by a girl or the girl possesses you, you can check. Even though we're not going to a strip show or anything, just ask this question, that the girl possesses you, or even forget the girl, the building you're talking about, MGM Grand, to Bellagio, to Paris, to this, to that. Do they possess you or you get possessed by them?
It's a grammar thing. I think you get possessed, right?
It's not only grammar, Harry, it's real experience. They don't possess you at all. You get possessed. Right? Now, when I go to MGM Grand, I'm staying in MGM Grand every time I've been in Las Vegas. It's been 2010, today we are in 2026. Let's say whenever we go to Las Vegas, 16, 20 years then, MGM Grand is not the same MGM Grand. Let's say I enter the strip and the first building is MGM Grand. When I enter into MGM Grand, I'm entering two MGM Grands. One, the MGM Grand, I have stayed for long times, every time in Las Vegas. And two, this new MGM Grand, which is the MGM Grand. Now, MGM Grand doesn't possess, but I get possessed by MGM Grand because I love MGM Grand, because that's the place I have stayed. Until something else possesses me, which is Bellagio or Paris or Eiffel Tower, what's that? Pyramid or whatever other things, or new other things have come, numerous of them now than what was in 2006 and to 2010. It is now many more of them. Okay, now I meet a friend in Las Vegas and he says, "Hey, Vilas, forget about being in MGM Grand. There's a new one which is superb." So then we go there. Now, this possession of MGM Grand in my mind goes away. It's taken over by this new one, whatever that new one is on the strip. And then I start comparing between MGM Grand stay and this stay, and I find this is better stay than MGM Grand. So that possession of MGM Grand goes away in my mind, because from the beginning, MGM Grand has never possessed me. I possessed MGM Grand. Now, in its place, this gets possessed. So the moment I get possessed by that, I'm 100% sure I'm not a Sakatagami. Because what should have come? MGM Grand is a building, and that is also a building, right? So we are talking about building. Forget about women for time being. They both are building. And Bellagio is also a building. Paris is also a building. And Venetian in that Paris, in that whatever we went, the Venetian is there and Eiffel Tower is there. Doesn't matter. It's created. Sankhara. It's made up. Sankata. So then I'm Sakatagami because I'm able to observe the thing which is coming in. It's not about secluding in the forest. It's about secluding inside. If I can seclude inside, then I'm a Sakatagami because it doesn't, I'm not possessed by them, their beauty. They both are beautiful. Bellagio, that fountain, is so beautiful. And if I stand on Eiffel Tower, in which is building opposite to Bellagio, it's so nice, awesome. I can get in Bellagio and stand and look at the fountain. I can stand on the Eiffel Tower and then watch the fountain. And in the night, Las Vegas looks extremely nice with so many neon lights. It's beauty. But as a Sakatagami, there's no Las Vegas to get enamored by because it's not possessing me. Yes, go ahead.
I guess in another term, possession means this consciousness finds a new home in this whatever object that has come. But I guess my question would be that if a Sakadagami has already given up finding home in these objects, then why does he even come back once at all to the world?
Nice question. Now, the gross Kamachanda Vyapada is gone, the subtle remains. This inclination, but not gross. These buildings, these women, this one, these roads, cars, everything is gross. But that root of Kamachanda and Vyapada remains. So it just comes once returner. He returns once to this existence. Yes.
Does that mean he still have the tendency to get quickly possessed but very quickly let go? Or
He
not
will
even
get
that?
possessed by jhanas. Possession is possession, right? So there's always the subtle. When you say subtle, sukuma, understand it is fine matter, not the gross matter. Yes.
Maybe it resembles in one sutta the Buddha say, in the first jhana, I'm enjoying the first jhana. Still, those things attracts me. So that thing is still there.
Yes, absolutely. But still. Good questions, Harry. Anyone else want to? This is a very important sutta for all, for samatha, jhana, vipassana, shunyagara, and a practical one, not a theoretical one that you sit in one corner with a cushion and etc. That's it then. Then we don't have any questions. I think no point in staring at each other. Anybody in that 9, what is showing RD and AP, TP, all that? Any questions? Okay. No questions. Good. So that's about the second Yoddha or the warrior. And another clarification I want to give you is when he says bhikkhu, it doesn't only mean a recluse, it means everyone who is following the Dhamma. Where do you find that reference? It is in Patisambhidha Magga Pali, the definition of bhikkhu. So don't get into a thinking that, oh, it means only one who has taken robes. Yes, it does. And also there in Dhammapada, just by changing robes, a person doesn't become a bhikkhu. Okay. And now that chat GPT is there, you can ask question, is only a robe person bhikkhu? Can a lay follower be a bhikkhu? And you will see it. So nowadays I'm using ChatGPT extensively because I feel so relieved that I don't have to really get from my mind what I used to get. Ah, this is the meaning. So I check my meaning through that and I find, yeah, now people will agree with what I say. Or ChatGPT or any other AI tool. Doesn't matter. Okay, that's it. Good. Have a great day and great night and bye bye.